Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful morning. Today, we'll be opening up a segment on Talking Deep. We're going to be talking about quotes from our favorite philosophers and teachers in our lives. And we're joined here by Abbas and Rene.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone.
How's your morning today, guys? Abbas?
Well, it's fantastic so far.
Yeah. And Rene?
Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome, yeah. Well, I gave you guys notice just last night about quotes, and
so we can sleep on it.
yes, that's right. Let it enter our subconscious minds. So, what did we come up with, guys? You got a lot of quotes.
How about you start us off?
Okay, all right. Well, who came to mind was, I love Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee quotes, because his quotes are a lot to do with the Tao Te Ching, the book that I was talking about last week, and it's all about what to do with nature, and I guess you all know about the famous "Be like water" quotes, but I've got a few others that I find really interesting, and there was a scene in the movie where he had a student, and this was the quote: "Don't think, feel. It's like a finger pointing at the moon. Do not concentrate on the finger, or you miss all that heavenly glory."
Wow.
You get that one?
Yeah.
What do you get out of that, Abbas?
Well, to me, it sounds like this is telling me don't focus on one point. Think broad, think outside the box. And it's pretty much it.
That's it.
Otherwise, you'll miss what's happening around you.
Exactly, eh? Yeah. It's just, I think it's like driving. I think, if you just keep focusing, I guess you're focusing on your phone, you're going to miss everything.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't drink and drive.
Get hit by a car.
That's it.
Well, I got a quote that that's pretty much similar to it. It's by Les Brown. He says, "Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars."
Yes. So it's just basically dreaming big.
Dream big, yeah.
And if you get there, you get there. If you don't, you just on the moon. I've got one similar to that one. Just find that one here. Okay, it's also Bruce Lee as well. I think Bruce Lee was way before his time, and this is his quote: "A goal is not always meant to be reached. It often serves simply as something to aim at." I mean, how many times do you find that true in your life? Like, okay, I used to do real estate. Okay, I am doing real estate a bit as well, and I did residential. And I thought when I started real estate, I thought I was going to sell a lot of houses, and I love this job. And I actually did really well in my first year. Listed and sold about 14 properties in my first year. And I thought that's my goal. I'm going to be a good real estate agent. But then one thing led to another, and then I ended up being in commercial real estate and helping a friend out, leasing shop spaces for him. So I'm still in real estate, okay, but I'm not selling houses, but I'm selling shop spaces. And then now I'm here at the radio.
The goal is not what you want. It's what you want with the time frame. So you have a plan to reach that goal, and you're never going to reach it if you give up.
Yes. So it's just like what Bruce Lee is saying is that your goal is something that you can aim at, and it's the whole process of doing that, and you really don't know where you're going to end up. who knows? Maybe another opportunity comes, and it's a lot better than the one that you're aiming for.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's nothing to stop you from changing your goals.
Yeah.
If you change them, you won't reach the old goals, I suppose, because you've changed them.
Yeah. Yeah. But it got you into action, isn't it? So it's just like if you're unemployed, okay, and you're gonna be looking for a job, okay, and you want to do this certain job, but you gotta start somewhere. Like at the beginning, sometimes you have to just apply for all jobs. So it's something to aim at. So once you get into action, things starts to roll, and you build momentum, and then who knows? You might like that job, you might not. At least you're in action.
True. It's like when they were making the light globe.
Yeah.
They kept trying and trying. All right, they may have failed 1,000 times, but they only had to succeed once to make it.
Exactly. Yes. That was a quote by Thomas Edison, was it?
Probably.
I got a quote that rhymes what we've talked about. It's also by Les Brown. He says, most people fail in life not because they aim too high and miss, but because they aim too low and hit. So in other words, like Rene mentioned, they aimed to make the light globe, but they did fail. But so what? Their aim was high. They did miss a few times, but they eventually got there.
So the quote saying that it's not the problem of aiming too high, but aiming too low.
Exactly. Yeah. So you need to aim high in order to take the steps to get there.
Yeah. Very similar to reach for the stars and you end up landing on the moon. So it's the same concept, but different ways of saying it as well. So
and look, it's different for every person. Like some of the things that we were taught, that if you make it too simple, it doesn't motivate you to actually do the task. If you make it too complex, it would seem too hard, and you still wouldn't do the task. You need to have it sufficiently complex enough to be able to motivate yourself to actually do it. And if the thing's just too big, you need to do it in little bits, chip at it to get there. Like a mountain climber, you can't jump to the top. And for example, you can't learn everything in one day. Like a computer course, you can't be an expert when you walk out the door. You have to do it in little bits to get to the end.
And starting with the basics.
That's right, you build on the basics. From the foundation up to the top.
That's right, yeah.
Well, got one that's very similar to that. Jim Rohn, one of my favourites.
Oh, he's one of my favourite philosophers as well.
Yeah, I like just the way he presents himself, and he's quite funny as well. He says, "Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better." In the words of Jim Rohn.
You're only competing with yourself, though, not with someone else.
Yeah,
it's like self-improvement sort of thing.
Yeah, well, my take on that was, you're going through all these tough times in your life, or a lot of challenges in what you want to do, and sometimes we wish, we don't. Why am I giving this? It's too hard to do. So we're not wishing that it's going to be easier, but we're wishing that we become strong enough to handle whatever challenges we face.
Yeah, and keep people who are positive and help you achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
You don't want people who always tell you you can't do it, you shouldn't do it. Well, don't believe them. Find a way. Don't listen to people who don't know or are too lazy to find out.
In other words, just cancel the negativity and focus on the positive talk. That way, you can gain positive outcome out of it.
Yeah. Well, I think a man's measure of their strength is in our challenges they have. You know, look at Gandhi. You know what he had to face. You know, but he was able to lead everyone. So, you know, the more challenges he had, you know, he didn't wish, all these problems. You know, why did I have all these problems? But he just found strength in himself. So, yeah. So I guess, you know, this was in line with what he did. He just brought out the best in himself because he just rose up to the challenge. Yeah.
So it's not half empty; it's half full glass, huh?
Depending on the way you see it.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
So, Rene, you got one for us?
Oh, I've had plenty, haven't I?
Yes, I saw you, you know, taking it all out of your mind onto paper this morning.
All right. Look, when you're making a decision, make sure you have the facts, not hearsay or maybe or possibly. You need to make an informed decision. Don't let someone else make decisions for you. Right? Each person is individual. They need to know what they're deciding, basically.
Who's that by?
Probably one of my teachers.
Mrs. Smith in the 6th grade. Yeah. By Rene / Rene.
Actually, I forgot which teacher it was. He told me something very valuable throughout my school career. And he said, when you ask a question, make sure you get the answer that you're after. Like, some people will try to avoid it, some will ignore it. Some will try to beat around the bush and not answer it. Or they could even refuse to answer the question. So, look, don't stop asking. Just ask it in a different way. Keep asking until you get the right answer. I gave that sort of suggestion to a friend of mine when he was having problems at school, and it helped him quite a fair bit. It's the old saying, never give up.
never give up. That's Winston Churchill. You heard that one from Winston Churchill? He just said never give up. What's next, guys?
Okay, I got a quote by Earl Nightingale. This quote, I believe it came from the Bible. It says, for every action there is an opposite and equal amount of reaction. So, in other words, what I take from it, what do you give, you'll get in return. So if you give good stuff or good advice or charity, someone will give you good in return. But if you do the opposite, which is bad, something bad will happen to you in return. So that's the take on it. So
it's like a law of karma.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to see. Hey, sometimes you feel like you did something and then you're expecting a return and it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's not always equal, like physics.
Yeah, sometimes it's not. Let's challenge this for a bit, eh? It's sometimes it happens, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it comes like way down the track, somewhere. Yeah.
That's right.
Sometimes you feel like, maybe a few months
There was
later,
an
a year
old
later
saying:
or something.
change what you can change, and let go of what you can't.
Yes. I got one here from William Shakespeare. A fool thinks himself to be wise, but a wise man knows himself to be a fool. So my take on that is,
A little bit of knowledge is dangerous.
well, I think is to humble yourself. Because we really don't know everything.
That's right. The wise man knows that he doesn't know everything.
Doesn't know everything, exactly. Yeah. So.
And the fool thinks he knows everything.
That's right. So.
There's always something out there to learn, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And when you stop learning, you get downhill.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yep.
How about Wayne Dyer, guys? I love Wayne Dyer. He passed away just a few years ago. And I love this quote. Change the way you look at things, and then the things you look at will change. For me, that's about perception. If everyone has their own perception of things. So if something happens to you,
like I said before, glass half full, glass half empty. It's your perception of what's around you and what you're doing.
Yeah. So if you just say you had some run-in while driving, some road rage incident or something. If you saw it as, okay, just say there's a big mix-up, who's wrong, who's right, and the guy's honking at you, you know what I mean? And, okay, he probably honked too much, maybe he's being, out of line there, just wants to get aggressive. But if you change the way you think about it, maybe he's just warning you something might happen in the future, So if you change the way you thought about it, that maybe the whole incident would change in your mind. Yeah. And, okay, we're gonna take a quick break here. Okay, and we're talking about quotes from philosophers and teachers, and we'll be back right after this track. Okay, we're back. We're talking about quotes from philosophers and teachers, and the last quote was, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Another one from Wayne Dyer that I really liked was, what people think of you is none of my business. Sounds counterintuitive, and it's basically saying, what people think of you is not really it's not your business, it's not your problem. They can think what they want to think, right? Instead of saying, what people think of me is none of your business. It's really none of my business. Yeah. So that's Wayne Dyer. Do we have another one, Abbas? How about Rene?
Well, what about work ethic?
Work ethic.
Yeah, be proud of your work. There's a lot of people out there that, take shortcuts, poorly complete what they're doing, half do stuff. like you need to be proud of what you're making. It makes you feel good.
Yep. Is that a quote or is that your philosophy?
It's both. Be proud of your work.
Rene's got.
It's old school.
Rene's back in school, more like it.
No, not school. It's old school.
Yes.
There's a difference.
Yes. Yeah, we had some pretty good teachers when you were in school. And,
no, old school means the traditional values, not actual school itself.
Yeah. Values.
It was like agreements were made by handshakes. People, when they said they would do something, they did it. They were proud of their work. The craftsmanship was there. It's very hard to find someone who will honour those old school values these days.
Okay. Awesome.
It's nice to see when they do.
Abbas, you got another one now?
I have one that is from Zach King. He's a photographer and also a video maker. He became popular on Vine, so
right.
You can say he's an upcoming specialist, in other words. But his quote was really struck me in one way or another. So this is his quote: "Take the tools and your ideas and create something that will inspire the world." So what he means by tools is, so what we have here right now in front of us, these are all tools to make us inspire others and eventually the world.
Yes.
So we have the phone, microphone, laptop. These are all tools in order for us to achieve some goals and, come up with some amazing ideas.
Yeah, like Bruce Lee. He took martial arts from all different types. He didn't believe in one style. He took styles from different martial arts, and they kind of revolutionized mixed martial arts. I mean, that's what created mixed martial arts. They revolutionized the martial arts.
There you go. He's one of the people that inspired the world in one way or another.
Yeah.
So that was martial arts.
Yeah, exactly.
And he also had, you mentioned the quote where become like water.
Yes.
That's an amazing quote, because the way I take on it, like wherever you put yourself, become. Like I remember him saying, if you put water in the pot, become the pot.
It becomes the pot.
And
put water in the cup, it
so
becomes the cup.
Exactly.
Water can flow or it can crash.
Yeah.
Be like water, my friend. So it is true. Water is a very powerful element on Earth. Probably one of the most powerful, because it becomes soft. It can go to any place. It goes into places where people abhor. You think about it. You go to your laundry room where the water flow into those dirty places. Water flows into, in the bathroom where people don't want to go. The water would just go there, and it can wash things away. It can contain things, absorb things. If you think of natural disasters as well, the big tsunamis, how powerful it is, cyclones.
And then you've got the biblical flood.
Yes, the biblical flood in Noah's days. Nothing beats it, right? I mean, water can put out fire. So if you had all these disasters happening all at once, water would actually, reign supreme, wouldn't it? Just like the Noah's flood event.
Everything has its purpose.
Yeah. But Yeah, I mean, I've got a quote that's similar to that as well, by Bruce Lee as well, and it's similar to what I talked about last week about bending, and this is his quote: "Notice that the stiffest tree is most easily cracked, while the bamboo or willow survives by bending with the wind." So that's what I was talking about last week, about being hard like a tree, and compared to being grass, where it's able to be bending and flexible.
Mm-hmm.
So if a strong wind comes, the tree can fall, but the grass will still remain. It's still bending according to the wind.
Yeah, that's right. I remember Rene mentioned how today they're taking that idea into today's buildings.
Yes.
So, in other words, that bending, bamboo, and stiffness.
Yes.
They put them together to create buildings that can hydraulically move, I believe.
That was one of the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they've got what they call dampeners at the top of a building to reduce the amount of movement or the speed at which the building moves. They've got all sorts of things. It could be hydraulic, it could be a pendulum, it could even be sort of like a big water tank, and the water splashes around when the building moves to
right.
reduce the movement. They've got I was watching the other night a documentary, and they had a building in Taiwan half a kilometre high. It's on the crisscross of, I think, 7 fault lines, and they get a lot of volcanic activity and tremors, and I think this building stood up to I think about a 6, tremor 6 on the Richter scale.
Wow.
They actually built it in sections where the outside slopes in on each section. It takes them 13 months to clean all the glass on that building. So when they reach the bottom, they have to start at the top. Bit like the Harbour Bridge. When they paint, they start from one side, go to the middle, and then start again.
I've got any more, guys? I know we chose our 5 each.
I don't know if this is a quote, but these days a lot of people shout to be able to win an argument. Shouting doesn't necessarily mean that they're right. Might be heard by a lot more people, but they need to back up their thoughts with facts.
Rene's all about facts.
Fact.
I have a quote from Les Brown. He says, "It's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one, and to have an opportunity and not be prepared." The way I take on this, it's like I want to apply for a job, right? If I'm not prepared for that opportunity when it comes, for example, I didn't build my portfolio properly, then I won't get the job because I wasn't prepared. But if I prepare beforehand, I have everything under my hand. So when I get the opportunity, I can present it any time. So that's the take I have on it. It's
very important to prepare.
Yeah.
And the opportunity can come. So
yeah, when opportunity knocks, you have to answer it, otherwise it'll go away.
Also, for another quote by Earl Nightingale, I believe this one's also related to the Bible. He says, "As you sow, so shall you reap." In other words, it's the law of cause and effect. So for every cause there's an effect. When you plant a say for example a corn, you have corn and you have nightshade, the deadly poison. If you're gonna plant them in the same farm, but if you nourish it and take care of it at the same time, they're both going to grow at the same time. So, in other words, the land doesn't choose for you. It's what you planted. So what you plant, you're going to receive.
Mm-hmm.
If you plant, going back to the previous topic I was talking about, when you do good things happen to you. When you do bad things happen to you. It's pretty much this quote is related to as well.
Yes.
A bit like computers these days as well.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
If you put rubbish in, you'll get rubbish out. The computer doesn't do anything else for you; it just processes the crap.
Yeah. Religious quotes like Buddha's quote. This one always stuck in my mind. Believe nothing. Whoever said it, whoever wrote it, even if I said it, only if it agrees with your own reasons and common sense. So, what I get out of that is not to follow blindly. Yeah. So whoever wrote it, wherever you got it from, don't believe it until you know that it makes sense.
You've confirmed.
That's right.
Facts.
Facts. That's right. And so your own reasons and your common sense, and so that always stuck with me, because there's just so much information out there.
True. Sometimes in the absence of facts, you rely on your intuition.
That's right.
And your experiences.
Yeah. So you're not following what everybody else is.
Yep.
Whatever.
Keep an open mind.
Yeah.
And make the decision when you have everything in front of you.
Yes. So when I saw a quote this morning, I was like, someone showed me the quote, and I'm like, I don't know yet. I need to ponder that quote a little bit more before I decide this is true. So I think that's very important.
These days, you can interpret a lot of things in a lot of different ways.
That's right. And sometimes we get drawn into popular belief as well, because everybody's believing in this.
But if 100 people jump off the harbour bridge, you don't want to be number 101.
Exactly.
Decide for yourself.
Exactly. So that's really important, and I think Buddha gave that message. And even to himself, what he said, don't believe it until it actually makes sense to you. So you got to live it as well. You got to live it, and you understand it, and you practice it. So that's really important, and especially this day and age as well. We could be led the wrong way, and follow blindly.
Yeah, especially if we have the wrong information.
Yeah. Even if it's the right information, make sure it's it makes sense to you, because you could totally misinterpret what that saying is.
And you need to understand the consequences of using that information.
That's right.
Whether it's appropriate to use it or not to use it.
Yeah, in the right context.
That's right.
So I really like that quote, and hope others can see that as well.
There was a good quote I heard this morning from Rachel, and her one: it's better to try and fail than to fail to try.
Yep.
So if you don't give something a go, you've already failed.
Also, I believe there's a flip side to everything as well. Do you believe in, when you're taking action, do you aim? Was it aim, shoot, and fire? Is that right? Or do you shoot and then aim?
You obviously want to aim.
You'll call it. You're speaking about jumping the gun.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes the flip side of that. I mean, rationally, you think, okay, you got to aim first and then you shoot, right? But sometimes you don't have the time to actually aim. You got to shoot and then aim, right? I mean, sometimes.
So is that you do stuff and then you cover it up?
Anyway, but it all comes down to context as well. So
it depends how nicely you arrange it afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like in Alan Watts talked a lot about that as well. I think you got to do it all at once. Sometimes you got to do it. So you're not aiming and then shooting and then or shooting and aim. You got to do it all at once. It's just like he gave an analogy about back in the day in the war, they shoot an arrow, right? Sometimes there's no time. You got your enemy there, right? And if you aim and then you shoot, you probably got an arrow through your heart already.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? So you got to do both at the same time. You got to be competent enough, okay, to be able to shoot and aim at the same time, and that's a level of Zen, I think. Yeah, I mean, being a level of Zen.
It's actually
shoot and aim at the same
it's
time.
risk analysis. It's sort of like, what are the consequences if you shoot?
Yeah.
What are the consequences if you don't shoot?
True.
And you need to weigh up the two.
Yes.
Even though you may not have the proper target where it's supposed to go to, what happens in both cases, and you need to weigh up the pros and the cons.
That's right. It's all about facts again, Rene.
That's right.
Well, I'll leave this out for the listeners. What do you think? You should shoot and then aim, or aim and then shoot? Which one?
Well, speaking about that, this brings me back to that first quote I mentioned. It was by Les Brown again. He says, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. So it's pretty much the same what you were saying.
You know, sometimes, you might miss the opportunity if you keep aiming. And, you know, so just shoot. Sometimes just shoot, and then you might just land on the moon. But in Rene's case, yes, you probably need to get the facts as well. So it all depends on context, isn't it? Yeah, if you got time to plan it out, get the facts, okay, you've got to do that.
And you also have to have a look at how much of that planning you have in place, whether it's 100%, 80%. Some people do 5% and just, shoot, as they say.
Yeah.
Look, 5%, that's no planning at all. Like, that's just, put the mark where you're going to stand and that's it.
Yeah. But we can be like planning, keep planning and then never take action. A lot of people
that's
don't.
Right. Depends on the consequences.
Yeah. So
that brings me to this quote by Art Williams. He's got a famous speech about just do it. We see this word nowadays on Nike shirts, just do it. He mentions that if you want to do something, just do it. He keeps repeating that, like, whatever he says. For example, if you want to buy a house, just do it, If you want to train, lose weight, just do it. What's holding you back?
If we go back to Rene's side, facts. Okay, you got to buy a house, but you don't have the funds for it. You're in trouble. Just do it. Just go buy it.
The bank will take it. Don't worry.
So that's what I was saying before. There's always a flip side.
Yeah, always.
Something. So, and then if we go back to what Buddha was saying,
and you don't want to procrastinate.
As long as it makes sense to you.
That's why you do just do it.
Yeah. So as long as it makes sense to you, then do it. If it's in your own reasons,
you've got the plan. Just do it.
Just do it.
Don't procrastinate.
Right. Exactly.
This brings me also. There's a famous quote by Steve Jobs. He says, "Stay hungry, stay foolish."
Yep. Sometimes I'm in a foolish mode. I think. Okay. Yes. Go Steve Jobs. Let's get foolish. Yeah, stay hungry, stay foolish. Yeah, nice one. Got one from Alan Watts. He gets really deep. I just want to see what you can get out of this one. Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth.
that
tons of
goes
crack,
deep.
though.
It is very, yeah. Well, you can't bite your own teeth, can you?
Yeah.
Unless you take
course
it out.
you can.
If you pull it out.
You bite hard enough for crack.
So what he's saying is that we really, the inner being is you can't find it. But I don't want to get too much into, that kind of stuff. Too woo woo. He also had one where it says, to have faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. So you can't grasp water.
Go with the flow, huh?
That's it. Yes. Like we said, water is a very powerful thing. But the thing is, if you try to grasp water, it just slips right out of your hand. So the only way to experience water, as Wayne Dyer heard this one. Wayne Dyer, is, you've experienced water, you've got to let it lay in your hand. But if you try to grab it, it'll just slip right out of your hand. Yeah. Anything else? Nice. Okay. Right. I just want to end this session with a quote I think is really, really important in today's life, in today's society. And it's both by Albert Einstein and Wayne Dyer. They both said a similar thing. So Wayne Dyer said, one of the most important decisions you'll ever make is choosing the kind of universe you exist in. Is it helpful and supportive, or hostile and unsupportive? Your answer to this question will make all the difference in terms of how you live your life and what kind of divine assistance you attract. Okay. A very similar saying by Albert Einstein. The most important decision we make is whether we believe we live in a friendly or a hostile environment. What do you get out with that? What do you get out of it?
I'm still processing.
Still processing, yeah. Yeah. So
well, if you're in a hostile environment, you're always on your guard, watching your back, making sure nothing happens to you. You don't have any chance to grow, to find who you are, to be creative.
Right. I think Albert Einstein, I don't know if he can foresee the future at all. There's a lot of things happening around the world right now, and I think this quote really is telling people, it is going to be a very important question for everyone, whether they're going to be living in a hostile environment or a friendly environment. And there was a few quotes that we did earlier about perception, but everything that you see, whatever happens in your life, are you going to see people that are around you? Are they hostile or are they friendly? And that is what's going to be attracted. And if we look at it as in a collective world with everybody, if everybody's turned against each other, with all these things happening around the world, then
you have to make it.
Yeah.
Like the work environment, you can make it into a hostile environment, or you can make it into a friendly.
That's right. So starting with
but you have to put the effort into it.
Yep. So I think he was talking about your family, your workplace, and then to your community, and then to your country, and then ultimately the whole world. If you go online these days on YouTube and events are happening and everyone is just look at the election in the US, everyone just going against each other. And then eventually, if you think that the world is a hostile place, you would actually play into that. You become a cause of that as well. So if you thought if the world is friendly, you would actually play into the friendly side of things, and you'll be part of creating a friendly world.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But you can't be blind to what's going on around you.
Yes, that's right. But really got to be careful of deciphering, what's good and what's not good, like if you really stand back the whole situation, you will see that both sides are just fighting each other. But the thing is, we're all human, isn't it? As Bruce Lee, I think, once said, that we're all but one family under the heavens, and so that's what we don't see. So really take a step back, and think, are we living in a friendly world or a hostile world? And if you believe what your mind attracts your reality, right? What do you really want to play into? Do we want a friendly world or do we want a hostile world? Yeah. So I just want to end with that quote. I think that's a very important quote for us and the whole world. And I hope everyone enjoyed this segment and really learned something. But also leave us your comments on what quotes that you want to be talked about. And and I hope I'd like to thank Rene and Abbas for joining us.
And thanks for doing the segment, Sam.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. And next couple of weeks, we're going to have very exciting guests come on. So stay tuned. We're going to have a young politician that's coming on. And also Yen the hypnotherapist is coming on again for part 2 of her segment. So I hope you all can join us next week, and I hope you all are having a wonderful day today, and God bless and peace.